Jim, Rowan, how you going? It's time for another historical podcast. We're going back to... We're up to May of 2007. We'll do a bit of a recap, actually, just to make sure we all know where we sit at the moment. So, in terms of the title picture, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title has just recently, just a few days before I'm about to start here on the 6th of the 5th is the next event. The last event was on the 3rd of the 5th in Korakuen Hall, and the title changed hands there. Dick Togo and Taka Michinoku defeated Gato and Gato, who had held the titles all year. Gato and Gato still, however, hold the War International Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title. That is generally defended in Dragon Gate. They have actually defended it in Dragon Gate once, I believe, since winning it. So that's the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. The Tag Team titles, that is. The singles version of the title has been held by Minoru all year. That's pretty easy to explain. The IWGP Tag Team title is currently held by Giant Bernard and Travis Tomko. That's been since the 11th of March. And that was when they defeated Manabu Nakanishi and Takao Mori. And in the IWGP Heavyweight title picture, that title belt is around the waist of Yuji Nagata, who defeated Tanahashi on the 13th of April after earning his shot at Tanahashi's title by defeating Togi Makabe in the 2007 New Japan Cup final. Tanahashi, since then, has succumbed to a knee injury, so he's going to be out for the next few months. I don't think we're going to have much more mention of Tanahashi in this podcast, unfortunately. He's going to be on the sidelines, but let's get into it. So, as I said, the next one is the 6th of May, 2007. It's a New Japan Lockup show in Tokyo. So, the Lockup events are run by former New Japan booker and, of course, New Japan legend and Japanese wrestling legend Riki Choshu, who currently I do try to speak in terms of where we are. Like, if I say currently, I mean currently it is the 6th of the 5th, 2007. Does that make sense? I'm trying to speak from the... Yeah, anyway. From the making this time that we're going back to the present, if that's not clear. So, currently, Riki Choshu runs Riki Pro, which is a promotion that's obviously got an affiliation with New Japan Pro Wrestling. So these lockup events are cross-promotional events. And they started about a year ago, in 2006. They've run every few months since. And Tomohiro Ishii is one of the main New Japan guys to participate in these events as a Riki Choshu disciple. I think it's really interesting because it's still New Japan canon. It's kind of just... It's got a few different guys, it's got a few of the same guys. From a New Japan perspective, it's got a few new guys, and it's got, a few guys that are on the main roster. And it gives guys like... Tomohiro Ishii is certainly a mid-carder at this time, at best. And it gives him a chance to be a little further up the card and to face a few guys that he can beat that he would otherwise just not have the opportunities to get wins over on normal New Japan shows. So I think it's an interesting concept. On this show, it was a best 2 out of 3 falls match. Shiro Koshinaka, Togi Makabe, and Tomohiro Ishii defeated Toru Yano, Gentaro, Kintaro Kanemura, Mammoth Sasaki, and Tetsuhiro Kuroda. Oh, sorry, no. I thought that sounded weird. Toru Yano's on the other side. So it's Koshinaka, Makabe, Ishii, and Yano versus Gentaro, Kanemura, Sasaki, and Kuroda. Best 2 out of 3 falls match. Yeah, the GBH guys seem to be, because of course earlier, I think it's over now, the Apache Pro, maybe not actually. Apache Pro was another promotion that's kind of running events with New Japan and with New Japan guys, and that was kind of based on a GBH invasion. So, yeah, those guys are kind of they're definitely the heels of the company, but they're also kind of the workhorses of the company. Moving along, on the 12th of May 2007, the Glory X GBH tour begins. On this one, nothing too significant to note. Masahiro Chono and Shinsuke Nakamura of the Black stable defeated Koshinaka and Ishii of GBH. And GBH were on the main event. Tenzan, Makabe, Honma, and Yano defeated Nakanishi, Yamamoto, Choshu, and Nagata. Then we have some TNA news here. On the 13th of May, the next day, at TNA Sacrifice pay-per-view for them, Christian Cage is stripped of the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship when NWA and TNA ended their business agreement, whereby the NWA title served as the top prize in TNA, which is, of course, how things began for TNA. That's when they started in 2002. So that's 5 years, just about, that the NWA title, the 12 pounds of gold, the Globe title, that original one. Well, it's not the original one. The one that came before the big gold belt was the top title in TNA until this day, 13th of May. I'm going to go eat some hay. TNA didn't recognize the vacancy, and Angle defeated Christian Cage and Sting in a 3-way match at Sacrifice to win the championship. Now, I didn't watch this. I wonder if he was... I guess they still could have had the title. So the next day, Angle was recognized as the first TNA World Heavyweight Champion, and the NWA World Heavyweight Championship was abandoned. So I don't know if they still had the title. I don't know what title they actually presented at Sacrifice. I'm sure I could go back and figure it out. But I guess really this isn't a TNA podcast. The significance of me mentioning this is because Angle is working with New Japan at this time, and it is about to become more significantly involved with the company. Actually, hold on a tick. Now I need to get my bearings here. Is Angle the third title belt holder at this time? I hope that's not a spoiler. I get a feeling we have talked about this. It's hard when it's oh gosh, no, spoiler, sorry. Oh, hold on. Yes. Spoiler. Okay. I think we're going to cover that in this one, though. So, the reason the reason I'm bringing this up is because Angle becoming TNA champion, he's about to come over to New Japan as TNA champion. Now, I should mention as well, in typical TNA fashion, Angle was stripped of the championship due to a double fall result in that three-way match at Sacrifice, because one referee was counting the pinfall that Christian had, or that Sting had on Christian, while the other referee saw Sting tapping simultaneously to Angle's ankle lock. But the referee that saw the pin was hurt, and therefore, once he had kind of counted the pin, he just kind of rolled away to wallow in his own misery and didn't really deal with the situation then and there. So the referee that was up and about and saw the tap kind of made the official call without seeing what the other referee had seen. So I guess no one's TNA champion, but Angle. I'm assuming I've written here somewhere that Angle and Christian have a match coming up, but we'll get to that when we get to that. The 14th of May, the Glory X GBH tour continues in Yamaguchi. Takashi Iizuka and Yuji Nagata defeated Togi Makabe and Tomohiro Ishii. A couple nights later in Oita, Takashi Iizuka and Yuji Nagata defeat Riki Choshu and Takashi Uwano. And then the next night, tour continues in Fukuoka, and the main event is Makabe, Honma, Yano defeating Yamamoto, Choshu, and Nagata. So, I mean, Yano, in terms of like, what does this mean? Makabe's a top guy, obviously. We remember he was in the New Japan Cup final. Honma's middle of the card. Yano's a bit above him, I would say. But that's a strong team. That's a strong trio. Whereas Yamamoto's a younger guy. He's certainly an up-and-comer and is being kind of groomed somewhat for a stronger push, but he's not there yet. Choshu, as we know, on his better days are behind him. He's just kind of around to get pops. And Nagata is the champion. He's the top guy. So, just to give you an idea, I mean, Yamamoto and Choshu taking falls in these matches is... I mean, I assume it was Yamamoto, but just for a bit of frame of reference of what's going on here, that's kind of the situation. We move along to Prince Devitt. We got a singles match. Prince Devitt defeated Wataru Inoue. That's in the junior division a fairly significant victory. Nakamura defeated Honma. Again, that's just kind of speaking to Honma's... I mean, in fairness, Nakamura's at least a top 5 guy, so he pretty much beats everyone in a singles match that isn't in that top 5. But defeats Honma here to just further confirm his place on the card. And then in the main event, Tenzan, Koshinaka, and Makabe defeated Nakanishi, Yamamoto, and Nagata. So once again, no prizes for guessing who took the fall in that one. We are still on the Glory X GBH tour. Kunamoto, the 19th. Taichi Ishikari, better known later as just simply Taichi, defeats Tetsuya Naito. And that's a rare win for young Taichi. He's not signed to New Japan at this time. He's just kind of come in to help out, I think. He's not on a exclusive deal with New Japan. I know he was with All Japan, but I don't know if he's necessarily going back and forth at this point. But this is kind of his transition from All Japan to New Japan. He eventually signs with New Japan, but at this time I think he's still just kind of on the shows without necessarily being a full-time employee, if that makes sense. And a defeat over Naito, who, I mean, that's a fairly significant victory. Naito's still a young lion, but he's a young lion. They have a bit of actually, no, sorry, I might be getting my timelines mixed up. I think at this point, Naito's just a young lion. But still, win for Taichi, nice one. Yamamoto defeated Honma. Okay. Oh, well, that was by disqualification, in fairness. I was going to say, well, that's a good showing of how, the middle of the card is working here, with Yamamoto on the way up and Honma kind of, just kind of settling in New Japan as well, actually, similar to Ishikari or Taichi. But not so much, just because this one was by DQ, so Honma obviously, in normal GBH fashion, just probably clubbed Yamamoto over the head, or someone else got involved and they beat him up. The next match on this one, Nakanishi and Choshu defeated Iizuka and Nagata. That's kind of an interesting one. I'm guessing Nakanishi went over Iizuka there. Iizuka's still kind of just kind of a fill-in guy, just kind of a mid-card, former tag specialist, a veteran, and he's just kind of there to fill a spot, really, as part of the main unit with Nagata. The main event of this one, Black Strong Machine, Masahiro Chono and Shinsuke Nakamura of that New Japan Black faction, defeated Hiroyoshi Tenzan, Shiro Koshinaka, and Toru Yano. Okay, how long does this... Okay, there's only 2 more events on this tour. Glory X, GBH, Fukuoka again. But a few singles matches here. So Milano Collection AT defeated Tetsuya Naito. No surprises there. Milano's a top junior. Black Strong Machine, a veteran, defeated Honma. So that's kind of telling of Honma's position. He's maybe more of a lower mid-carder here, being defeated by Black Strong Machine. Not to disrespect the veteran at all. Taichi Ishikari and Takashi Iizuka. How about that? If you were to fast forward to the actual present day, depending on when you're listening to this, but later in life, since 2007, we would learn that Taichi and Iizuka were to form a bond. I don't know if this is the first time they've tagged together, but it's the first time I recognize seeing them as a tag team, and they defeated together Nakanishi and Hirasawa. So that's interesting. Just since we're on the topic of trying to place people, there should be no disputing who... Well, I guess there could be a dispute. I don't know who won this match, but I wouldn't suspect a great debate over predictions when it came to who took the fall here. Mitsuhide Hirasawa is very much an undercard wrestler, to put it politely. Then we had, in the semi-main event, Koji Kanamoto and Wataru Inoue defeating Jushin Thunder Liger and Prince Devitt. So that's a big win. I mean, those are all top juniors. So it's a big win for them. I think I've got a misprint here, but in any case, just kind of a big tag match. One of those tag matches where you're not sure who takes the fall, because they're all guys that you can see beating the other guys in singles matches. Anyone else in the ring. Then the main event was Tenzan, Koshinaka, Makabe, and Ishii and Yano. Nearly left Yano out again, defeating Chono, Yamamoto, Choshu, Nakamura, and Nagata. Big mix-up in that second team there, kind of the main unit guys with some New Japan black guys who are kind of more of their heels. So that's interesting. The first elimination was rather striking. Yano defeated Nakamura and eliminated him first. Now, I didn't see this match, but I can picture the GBH guys just targeting and isolating Nakamura and just beating the piss out of him straight away, and Yano doing the dirtiest of work to put him away. Yano then goes on to Riki Choshu and eliminates him next, just seconds later, actually. About 20 seconds later. This is 10 minutes into the match. Chono then eliminates Ishii. Nagata eliminates Yano. Yamamoto eliminates Koshinaka. Now we're about 20 minutes in. Tenzan eliminates Yamamoto just about 20 seconds after that. Chono falls out of the ring a few minutes after that, so he's eliminated by the over-the-top rope rule, leaving the final pair, Makabe and Nagata, the former New Japan Cup finalists, of course. And Makabe this time comes out on top to win the elimination main event. And as I said, the final Glory X GBH card here on tour, it ended in Hiroshima, and we had a few singles matches here. Riki Choshu defeated Toru Yano. Now, I didn't have the result. It's possible that was by DQ, but because otherwise it was only a 4-minute match. That's quite a quick win for Choshu. And whilst I'm sure Yano would have no problems doing the job for Choshu, it's still, in terms of the card, Choshu's still, he's strong, but he's just kind of a strong presence in tags. He's not necessarily involved in the finish as often. In any case, that was the result. Togi Makabe defeated Naofumi Yamamoto. Now that one makes sense. Makabe, another one of those top 5 guys, I would say. And Yamamoto still on his way up. I'm sure he probably took a few less than savoury shots in that match, leading to the loss. Yamamoto, there was probably a little extra help, whether that be by a weapon or a teammate of Makabe's, but you would expect he would not have even needed that to defeat Yamamoto. Makabe, a top guy. But not even the main event actually, but there was a title defense. Minoru, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, defended against Yujiro Takahashi, who is just kind of coming out of the, looking to graduate from the young lion space. And this match is on New Japan's YouTube, Japanese YouTube channel. So I'll link that below. It's not great footage. It's filmed on a single camera, but the match goes over 20 minutes, which is impressive given Yujiro is at the status he is. He's a young guy. He eventually taps out to an armbar, but still, 20 minutes with the champ. And then he gets the full trophy treatment afterwards, Minoru, the whole presentation and whatnot. So that's nice that he didn't just phone it in after beating a young fella. Then we had Iizuka and Nagata defeating Honma and Ishii. The main event on this one was Tenzan and Koshinaka defeating Chono and Nakamura. So despite Yujiro still being an undercard guy, a youngster, the fact that this wasn't the main event, the fact that this was the main event and not the junior title, just kind of, I suppose, puts into perspective how New Japan are currently treating that division. And, there was even just that kind of nothing tag match. I mean, Izuka and Nagata, obviously Nagata's a champion, fair enough. Honma and Ishii are just kind of mid-card goons for the GBH side. I don't know, it's just an interesting note on how they build a card, that the title match is just stuck there in the middle while these aren't that significant of matches. I mean, the main event was a big one. Obviously, there's more star power. I guess that's kind of how they're looking at it. Tenzan, Koshinaka, we know from that defense. If we don't otherwise know, we know from that defense that he made, the challenge that he made against Nagata for the title back in at the start of May. He was super popular in that match. So and we know Tenzan's popular, legend. So those guys are super popular. Chono, of course, is a legend and super popular. Nakamura is one of the current top guys. I mean, in terms of star power, sure. Minoru versus Yujiro doesn't come close. But I suppose it's kind of just, will they ever, if they're the champions of the division and they're not treated as the main event? I'm not even saying they were wrong for doing it. I guess I'm just pointing it out. It's just worth noting. But I actually, just on that match, the main event there, I wonder who took the fall of Chono and Nakamura. It's another one of these tag matches where you go into it not knowing who's going to take the fall in it. So, interesting. Now, we have found ourselves in June. And I guess we're going to wrap this one up with the Best of Super Juniors, number 14, XIV. So the Best of Super Juniors in 2007 ran from the 1st of June to the 17th of June. The competitors in this one, I'll just roll through the blocks here. We had Block A, Yujiro, Taichi, Tiger Mask, Inoue, Milano Collection, Jushin Thunder Liger, and Prince Devitt. And in Block B, we had Bxp Hulk, El Samurai, Gato, Koji Kanamoto, Minoru, Ryusuke Taguchi, and Tetsuya Naito. Okay, so the first night was in Korakuen Hall, and a bunch of these, I'll mention them as I go, but a bunch of these, if you're interested, are on the New Japan's Japanese YouTube. So you can see a fair chunk of this tournament if you would like. And I did. I watched them. I only took quick notes, but we'll go through to get an idea of what happened. So the first match I've got here in Block A, Jushin Thunder Liger defeated Yujiro, and this match is available on the YouTubes. So Bad Black Liger wears down the leg of young Yujiro of Samurai Jim, the team of Taguchi, El Samurai, and Yujiro. He wears on the legs of Yujiro with both legitimate and illegitimate attacks. There's a stiff shote that lays Yujiro out, and Liger tells the referee to count him down. Yujiro rises at 7 and lifts Liger with an Olympic slam. He calls it the Incole Slam? Incole Slam? Something like that. I might stick with Olympic. His comeback continues through several more moves, including a very pretty moonsault from Yujiro for 2. But his momentum is halted when Liger lands the brainbuster, and then the CTB, which is the Crash Thunder Buster, a belly-to-back wheelbarrow face buster, and that's the finish via pinfall. Liger picking up the 2 points in that one. Block B match, Tetsuya Naito defeated Gato. This is on the YouTubes. All the links will be below if I remember to do so. If not, comment and say, hey, you forgot to do it. Naito is still a young lion in black trunks and black boots, but he's included in the tournament as a replacement for Gato's tag team partner, Gato, who missed the tournament due to injury. So they've got this match first up. And Gato introduces Naito to the big time with a chair poke to the ribs and a tumble into the audience. Naito makes it back into the ring in time, but he might have wished he didn't because he just keeps getting beat on until Naito surges off the ropes with his flying forearm. He begins mounting some offense, which largely continues into the end of the match, surprisingly, when he manages a Japanese leg roll clutch. Naito on Gato. I guess kind of... Isn't that also the Gato clutch? So he beats Gato with his own move, and the crowd are pretty excited by it, because that's obviously Gato is a top junior, never in the singles side of things really, but still in tag matches, and a current champion, the War Champion. So I guess Naito, if he had a partner, just earned himself a shot at the War Championships, but that wasn't to be. The crowd are just real excited about the upset victory. So good for Naito, showing some promise early. And then we had Taguchi defeating Minoru, another big big win there. And it's also available. In fact, there's one more. These are all available on the Japanese YouTube channel. So Taguchi in this one against Minoru swivels his hips in signature style, but Minoru sneaks up behind him, pushes him over, and then does it himself. Bit flashy himself. Minoru hits a fisherman buster off the top, and Taguchi pops right back up, only to be knocked straight back down again. Minoru goes for another fisherman buster, but Taguchi rolls through into a pin. Minoru counters into the armbar, but that's slipped out of. Taguchi goes close to a finish with a couple of German suplexes. Tries again with a straitjacket version for another close pin, and the crowd are really fired up. So is Minoru. He reverses the Dodon. So is Taguchi, but he goes for the Dodon. Minoru reverses it the first time, and then a Tiger suplex is followed by the Dodon for the finish, and that certainly must earn Taguchi a shot at the title. Although Minoru defended against Taguchi not that long ago. I think it was only in late April. But still, he's showing that he's right up the top there, Taguchi. And then the other match on this card, the 1st of June, was Kanamoto versus Bxp Hulk. Handsome fellow, Hulk is. I didn't expect that. And he's very eager, because I don't know much about him, to be honest. He's obviously not a New Japan guy. He's come in. He's very eager. He starts with the drop kick just as the bell rings. Kanamoto shows his experience in mitigating his enthusiasm, though. Hulk's enthusiasm with the crowd's backing. They loudly chop each other back and forth. Kanamoto keeps going to the knee and eventually secures the knee bar for the submission victory, and Hulk shows his opponent and the fans a lot of respect with a bunch of bows. The next couple nights we didn't have the matches on YouTube, so we'll just go with the results. It was in Saitama. Taichi defeated Devitt. Inoue defeated Milano. I'll keep up with the points, actually. So that was Taichi's first win. He goes to 2 points. Inoue, that's his second win. He goes to 4 points with his victory over Milano. Tiger Mask picks up 2 points against Liger, so they're 2-2. Hulk picks up his first victory over Naito, so they're both 2-2. And Samurai picks up his first victory over Kanamoto, so they are both 2-2. Sorry, I should have mentioned, those two last bouts were Block B. The first 3 bouts were Block A. And that's the order I continue to do these in, rather than whoever was the main event. Just Block A, Liger defeated Taichi, so he goes to 4 points. Taichi remains on 2. Block A, Tiger Mask goes to 4 points. Yujiro stays on 0. Block A, Milano picks up his first points. 2 points against Prince Devitt. Yeah, Prince Devitt's struggling. And then Block B, Taguchi defeated Naito. So Naito remains on 2 points. Taguchi goes to 4. Block B, Samurai picks up another 2 points to go to 4. And Hulk is who he defeated, stays on 2. So I don't know what's going on with Devitt in these other matches, whether he has forfeited them or what. Or if he's just kind of struggling through and losing. But on the 7th, so that last card, the first 3 matches happened on consecutive nights, the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd. On the 7th, it's announced that Prince Devitt is forced to withdraw from the tournament due to injury, and he forfeits all the scheduled matches upcoming. So, yeah, I couldn't find a lot of information on it. I'm not sure if he was forfeiting matches already. But there it is. Devitt's out. So he ends the tournament with 0 points before the tournament's over. On the 8th, we do have a couple matches we can see. In Block A, Milano Collection against Jushin Thunder Liger. Both of these guys are on 4 points going in. Sorry, no. Milano's on 2 points going into this match. I've just spoiled it. Milano Collection wins. They both end up on 4 points after this match. It's a very mat-based start to the contest, but then Liger's dark side comes out to ensure that he takes the advantage with leg attacks, particularly those around the ring post, and then he's got a steel chair that he uses. There's a particularly cool face buster off the top turnbuckle used during Milano's comeback, and then the Italian necktie has Liger in some serious trouble. Red Shoes pushes Milano off to count Liger down as knocked out. I'm not sure why they would let that happen. And then there's a Liger bomb, because of course Liger recovers. I would have just pinned him. Why didn't you just pin him? There's a Liger bomb, an avalanche fisherman buster, and a brain buster, but none of those keep Milano down. Then he dodges a shote with his matrix move when he bends over backwards. And then he slides out of the way of a pin the same way in a spirited comeback, missing a springboard, but then repeating it to make sure. Then winning the match with Victoria Milanese, the bridging leg hook Saito suplex. It seemed impossible that he would win at the end. He was getting completely dominated with all those moves. He just kind of had a surge of energy out of nowhere and no real selling required, and Milano wins a big match. The next one, so that's Block A if I didn't mention. Block B, Hulk picks up a win over Gato. He goes to 4 points. Gato's still on 0. This is also on YouTube. Gato grabs his wacky stick, but Hulk snatches it from him and delivers what I think is called H Thunder. It's a scoop, like a scoop slam, but like a side. He goes to the side and then it's a pile driver. Or it could also be the EVO, because it was a pump handle setup, but it was like to the side and a driver. So yeah, again, I don't know too much about Hulk. I wasn't able to figure that out, but it was a cool finish. I like the finish, and it keeps Hulk amongst the tournament contenders here, going to 4 points. Kanamoto also goes to 4 points, not surprisingly that he defeats Minoru, but that Minoru, the IWGP champion, is still on 0 points. Kanamoto has Minoru in the ankle lock badly, and on multiple occasions. The champion fights and fights, but ultimately his ankle is subjected to too much, and Kanamoto forces him to tap out. So there you go. The next night is the 9th of June, night 4 in Kagawa. And this begins... Actually, there's no other matches that I found on the YouTube channel until the semi-finals. So, hold on, is this night... This isn't night... That's not night 4, that's night 5. Just doing a bad copy-paste job here. Is this the time to fix it? Not really. Okay. So yeah, until the semi-finals, I'll just roll through these results pretty quickly. So in the Block A matches, Liger defeated Devitt via forfeit, obviously. Milano defeated Tiger Mask. Block B matches, Minoru finally gets a win over Naito. Not that he finally gets a win over Naito, finally gets some points on the board. He defeated Naito in order to do so. And the other Block B match, Taguchi defeated Hulk. The next night, Yujiro picks up the forfeit points from Devitt, and that's his first 2 points. Inoue goes to 8 points with a win over Taichi. And then in Block B matches, Minoru defeated El Samurai. Gato and Kanamoto went to a double count-out draw. So they both pick up 1 point. And this one had a main event, other than the Best of Super Juniors stuff. So best 2 out of 3 falls match. Tenzan, Koshinaka, Makabe, and Honma defeated Nakanishi, Choshu, Izuka, and Nagata. It was Makabe taking out Choshu, Nagata taking out Honma, then Makabe taking out Izuka. So they got it's not an elimination match, it's just the GBH team got the 2 falls. So they won. The 12th, night 7. We had a singles match on this one as well. Nakamura defeated Ishii in a singles match. But in the Best of Super Juniors matches, Yujiro picked up another win. He goes to 4 points. And he beat Milano. How about that? The other Block A match was Tiger Mask defeating Taichi. In the Block B matches, Minoru defeated Gato, Kanamoto defeated Naito, and Taguchi defeated his teammate, Samurai. But none of those Block B matches or results are particularly surprising. Nakamura has another singles match on the next night, on the 14th. He defeats Yano. Then in the Block A matches, Tiger Mask defeated Devitt with the forfeit. Liger defeats Inoue. They're both on 8 points now. Tiger Mask is on 8 points as well. Naito gets another win over Samurai. Nice one. Gato picks up his first win against Taguchi. And Minoru goes to 8 points as well after a slow start, defeating Hulk. On the 15th, the final night before the semi-finals, Milano Collection goes to 8 points, defeating Taichi. Inoue goes to 10 points, defeating Yujiro. Gato picks up another win over Samurai of no consequence. And Taguchi goes to 10 points. Sorry, the last 2 matches were Block B, the first 2 matches were Block A. So Inoue's top of Block A with 10 points, and Taguchi goes top of Block B with 10 points over Kanamoto is his victory in the last one. So the semi-finals took place on the 16th and the finals on the 17th. We've got a couple more matches, or at least one more match here. There's a Samurai, Kanamoto, and Tiger Mask match against Gato, Liger, and Taichi. That's on the Japanese YouTube channel, link below. Taichi looks like a scared kid against Kanamoto, but he matches him well enough to start things off. Then Liger sneaks in to ruin Tiger Mask's advantage over Gato. Liger, in his black CTU outfit, of course, crotches Samurai on the turnbuckle and points and laughs at him. Kanemaru brings Gato very close to tapping with an ankle lock, and he probably would have if not for Liger's intervention. Taichi hits Black Mephisto on Tiger Mask, but the pin's broken up. I'm not sure if that's what he's calling it at this time, but that's the move. And then he tries to climb the turnbuckle, but is held onto, and Tiger makes the most of that with a Super Tiger suplex. There's a few interferences between that and a tombstone, followed by a Tiger suplex for the Tiger Mask win over Taichi. Not bad. Taichi heavily involved. So the semi-final, Best of Super Juniors 14. Milano Collection versus Ryusuke Taguchi. Oh man, some of these Japanese names start to... it's not natural yet. I've been watching this for years, but it still sometimes trips me up. This wasn't I don't know, I didn't think this was too much of a match, though, really. Milano beats Taguchi down a lot. He hits several moves and kind of pins each time in between, but isn't getting the victory. He hits the Victoria Milanese. Did I say it right this time? The Saito suplex for the victory. That's what ends up getting Milano a place in the final. The other match I liked a bit better. It was Wataru Inoue versus Minoru. Of course, Minoru, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion at this time, he walks in looking confident and handsome. Inoue's kind of a bit of a scrappy underdog, although, he finished with more points, so, But he, for a long time, Inoue's just kind of been a mid-card guy. He's never necessarily been at the top of the card. That's kind of a new thing for him here. He does have a bit of size on Minoru, who also has his left shoulder and his lower back taped up, so Minoru's obviously hurting. There's a cool counter sequence on the outside that ends with Minoru attacking Inoue's left arm using the elements around him, and then that attack continues in the ring, but Inoue's toughness proves difficult for Minoru to overcome. Perfect example being a battle on the turnbuckle that Minoru eventually wins out on, delivering a brutal high-angle superplex. You could say brainbuster. Only for Inoue to kick out at one and mount a counterattack. A brainbuster of his own caps that off, and Minoru kicks out at one to show that he isn't being left behind. Inoue gets into position for his triangle lancer armbar, but Minoru rolls through into a pin. Minoru obviously pretty on top of armbars himself, or arm holds himself. Minoru counters a lariat into his own armbar, but Inoue scuffles to the ropes. There's a spear that lands from Inoue, and he transitions quickly into the staggering blow, which is a cross-legged brainbuster. Minoru kicks out of this usual finisher, but Inoue is actually ready for that. He quickly takes the arm, he switches back into the triangle lancer again, and this time Minoru's got nowhere to go. Inoue wins via submission, and I thought this was a really good match. So this will be linked below. I would suggest going out of your way to check this out. Not so much the other semi-final, unless you're just really into Best of Super Juniors history. And that leads us to the final. We'll finish off with this. 17th of June, Korakuen Hall. We had a couple matches to begin just on the undercard here, so pretty big win for Nakamura, defeating Tenzan. Not necessarily a surprising win, but that's a fair bit of star power in a singles match. And then Minoru, Taguchi, and Tiger Mask defeated El Samurai, Jushin Thunder Liger, and Koji Kanamoto. And the other match on the undercard here of note was Nakanishi and Nagata defeating Makabe and Yano. Bringing us to the Best of Super Juniors final. Milano Collection AT versus Wataru Inoue. And this is on the Japanese YouTube channel for New Japan. So, once again, it will be below. The fans in this one sound firmly behind Milano, but it's a very even match. It's back and forth. Milano tries a backward triangle lancer on Inoue. But it's the kind of move that wouldn't hurt a 7-year-old. He obviously doesn't know what he's doing. Although having said that, Inoue often it doesn't often look... I mean, sometimes it doesn't look that great when Inoue even does it. It's not a very good armbar if you know how to do a real arm submission. But sometimes it looks good. Anyway, but after escaping that terrible Milano hold, Inoue fakes Milano out with the lariat so that when Milano goes for the backhand bridge, when he goes down to dodge, Inoue just drops down on him with an elbow. So we knew that was coming. Inoue hits the staggering blow from the top rope, but in fairness, those brainbusters always have further to turn over from a higher starting point. So I guess maybe that's the kayfabe reason why that's not the finish, is that it kind of turns into more of a vertical suplex than a brainbuster when you come off the top rope. Anyway, Milano tries some other kind of weird arm breaker off the top turnbuckle, and then he cracks Inoue with a perfect super kick, followed by Victoria Milanese, going back to what he knows better. Inoue somehow kicks out of that, but the fans are still behind the fashionista, Milano. Inoue reverses his next attack into the triangle lancer, and Milano looks in trouble until he counters into a pin, and the crowd are frothing at this point. They're well into this. Milano ducks a spear and delivers a diving kick, but Inoue kicks out of that at one, just once again, just showing that scrappy toughness he's got. There's another kick to the jaw, but this time the Armani shoe exchange, which is Milano's middle rope springboard corkscrew senton, lands. Victoria Milanese follows, and this finally keeps Inoue down for the count, and the crowd love it. They're ecstatic. Milano Collection AT is the Super Junior. He's the best of Super Junior. What are they? What would he be called? Best of the Super Juniors is the tournament. So he's the best Super Junior? Then? I never thought about that. Well, in any case, he's the victor of this tournament, the 14th incarnation of Best of the Super Juniors, Milano Collection. So, I'll wrap that one up there. There is still a couple weeks left of June, and some big news that comes out of it. So, that'll be on the next one. I'm enjoying these. It's a bit hard sometimes to stay in the time that we're dealing with. Sometimes it's you kind of remember, because I mean I've watched all of this and I've gone further forward. Sometimes it's hard to go back to this and be like, remind yourself of the moment. That's why I think it's important, the way I started this, to kind of say, well, here's at least what the title picture's looking like. And I don't know, maybe that helps me more than it helps you. But still, look, if you're enjoying them, then great. More of them to come. Subscribe, give me a comment. You think I got anything wrong, comment. Like I said in previous ones, I'm not claiming to be an expert in any of this. I did go back and research it heavily, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to make mistakes and miss things. So if you think I missed something genuinely, I'm not going to bite your head off. I would like to hear about it. Tell me about it in the comments below, and look out for the next one. Thank you for listening. Until next time, have a good one.